Welcome to Still Plays Galaxy of Heroes. We just did this a couple days ago with Ben Solo. We're back with a small talk gear assessment. That branding's not really working for me. We'll come up with something better. We had a great reaction with the last one of these, so this format will likely be a regular video going forward. As a free-to-play player, this is the stuff I care about. It helps me plan and have a general idea of what I'm going for in advance. And as a player in general, I like to have access to the new toys, and Gear 11 lets you do that sooner. So the bulk of this, we're going to be looking at Gear 7 to 11, then look at Gear 12 as a separate piece, and then relics as a separate piece. With Skiff Lando, we have another fairly reasonable to gear character, which is nice. Not as absurdly easy as Ben Solo. We'll probably never see something like that again, but Screech here can be up and running pretty quick, although from a damage standpoint, he'll likely leave a lot to be desired unless you can stack up Trusted Agent. Hopefully that improves with stars and not just at relics. I like to see at which stages we can really be able to utilize some of those Gear 11 characters as we move towards different goals and build out some deeper rosters quickly. From a pure count standpoint, he's about average to slightly better than average. He needs plenty of common gear, but he doesn't have an unreasonable demand of any single piece of gear up to that Gear 11 threshold. That's what's shown on screen here. We're talking 2 Carbantes, 1 stun gun, 4 stun cuffs, 3 sets of Kairos, which is pretty standard for any character these days, and we need 2 of those Mark IV comlinks that are increasingly common with new characters. Never used to be a gate. That feels like one CG has been slowly adding over the past year or two and turning it into one. When we break this down by gear level, it is not that bad. There are a couple soft gates, but at Gear 7, HoloLens, that's why I take a look at Gear 7. Gear 8, you're going to be done with the HoloLenses. There's 2 more, 1 paired with a fusion furnace. There are 2 Carbantes, 1 paired with a stun gun, and then a stun cuff. Kind of a soft gate, but that is pretty standard for Gear 8 in general, and that's not that bad of one. The ones that aren't as diverse are far more annoying. At Gear 9, there is the first set of Chirotechs and a Nubian scanner, but really that's a pretty easy gear level, and a lot of players are going to be able to roll right by it. At Gear 10, 2 more sets of Chirotechs, 3 stun cuffs. 2 of those stun cuffs are paired with a Mark IV comlink. That is more annoying. There's also a Nubian scanner. But if you have a decent horde going, you should be able to get to Gear 11 without much issue on this character. Gear 11, though, is going to be a nuisance. You need 4 sets of Mark V thermals and the Carbante. So 200 of each. In addition to that, you need 2 Mark IX biotechs, and you will need a Mark VI thermal. That is a large count of the same pieces, and that is more of a pain than if it was other pieces that are more common. But on the plus side, stun cuffs are one of those pieces that a lot of players are able to grow past, so that is much better than it could be. At Gear 12, you got 2 armor platings, you have the bayonet, 2 thermals. Really, this is another thing that's not that bad. This is all common stuff, but it's not the worst things that it could be. Like, it's not the fusion furnace that appears on a lot of characters, or those med packs that are very common. These are more middling to average common Gear 12 pieces. So as far as relics go, other than it needing the Cairo Prod, which is a little bit more of a pain than the Cairo Computer, pretty easy character to get to relics, relatively speaking. Overall, he's not an easy character to gear, but he's not a bad one. He is slightly better than average. Nothing we need to dread if you're working towards Jabba, which is a character that I'm now considering that maybe I shift in that direction instead of going for Sith Eternal Emperor, which was my original plan. But as we get some of these requirements, I might be pivoting. something to look out for as we get this final set in the next several weeks. In the Ben Solo one of these, I said that we could do Melgus and Chrysanthemum since those were recent characters and they're interesting to do gear assessments on. There was interest for that, so we will be doing those. These are fun and quick for me to make, so I think it's an easy thing to make as part of the regular rotation. We'll intersperse these with the Grand Arena videos and spread them out a bit. I don't want to bog things down with too much of the same content. But thank you for watching. Be safe out there and be excellent to each other. This is still Plays Galaxy of Heroes.